Council because they represent the continued push in this city and in cities all across America to displace poor people, black people, Latinos, people of color generally, right? When Bratton was in Skid Row and when he was at the LAPD, one of the first things that he did was basically displace with hard power all of the homeless people that lived on Skid Row to make way for luxury condos, to make way for development, right? Not development, right? Not developing our communities, not strengthening our communities, but replacing the people who live in those communities. So we have to always underscore that it's also about the larger socioeconomic framework. This cold weather, there's no amount of cops that are going to bring justice and benefit to our communities. They say they want 1,000 more cops. I say we could use 1,000 less cops. I say we can use much less cops. And we need to invest this money into our communities. This is our communities' elected officials, but yet somehow, some way, when cops fuck up, somehow they get more resources. And they come out and they talk about community policing or some other nonsense that just means more cops, more surveillance, more everything of the same. And we're not getting fooled. Okay, some of these elected officials may be fooled, or maybe they're just part of the game that tries to tell us that cops are what we need to throw at our communities, right? A gun and a badge is better than a job, or than an after-school program, or than a teacher, or than investment into our public housing. This is nonsense. This is utter bullshit. And I'm gonna say, yeah, it's bullshit. And I'm gonna say that we are not going to just stop with just stopping 1,000 cops. We're going to frame this and branch this out into the larger broken windows ideology that's at the core of not only this city, but in urban cities all across America. In Ferguson, Oakland, LA, we had the opportunity, we had the great pleasure of meeting with some LA organizers who had battled with Bratton beforehand and they're still battling with Chief Beck over there about the bullshit that goes on over there with broken windows. Commissioner Bratton and the mayor who brought him back are not attuned to the message that we in our communities need. Bratton should have never been here to begin with.
That's right. You gotta go.
Bratton should be in a prison, okay?
Or retired somewhere.
Retired in a prison, doing hard time for the crimes he's put against our communities. Yeah. The thousands and thousands and thousands of arrests and summonses, mostly upon communities of color, people of color. And he's done this for the last 20 years, and he comes here and they applaud him, and he's bringing this ideology back. So we're here in New York, we're gonna bury that theory. We're gonna bury his ideas here in the city where it started 20 years ago. And in fact, we have some people here who will remember the Giuliani era, remember what it was like when Bratton was first here, and they've been fighting for 20 years. Mr. Nicholas Hayward, who's gonna speak with us, had his, just this winter, a few months ago, had to mark 20 years since his young son, was shot in a housing staircase just like Akai Gurley. So we're talking about these issues. The 1,000 cops is something that we're gonna put our foot down and say, Melissa Mark Viverito, City Council, you're all hiding in there. We're gonna make sure that everyone in this city understands that the legacy of all these progressives is gonna be more cops, and it's gonna be something that we're gonna make sure that everyone in this city, in this country, knows the hypocrisy and the contradiction of what you say out of one side of your mouth and what you do with the commissioner of this police department out the other. So just like we're going to transition right into some speakers. Again, the campaign is called Safety Beyond Policing. SafetyBeyondPolicing.com for more information. If you want to join us, if you want to work with us, SafetyBeyondPolicing.com. There's many groups that are going to be represented here. But